Hello, this is my flipped classroom presentation on the Epic Hero Cycle. So before we jump into this cycle, just a little bit about Epic Heroes. We've worked with them before, talking about Beowulf, but now it's really time to dive in and focus on the cycle that they go through. Every Epic Hero has a quest, and they go in a circular motion until they finish their quest. So for this example and all of these purposes, I'm going to discuss Beowulf as I explain what the cycle is that all epic heroes go through. So if you look, you can see it's broken up into the circle. The known world is all the stuff at the top above this red line, which is considered the threshold, and everything below the threshold is the unknown world, which means the heroes never experienced it before. So you can see you start right at the top. Number one, the first step in the cycle is the world of common day. So what the world of common day is, this is just where we meet the hero. The setting is kind of, set up for us. We find out about the hero and all the surroundings and the culture. So nothing exciting happens yet. Number two is the call to adventure. So this is when this hero, who's usually a known warrior, is notified that something's gone awry elsewhere and they're needed to jump in to kind of help save the day. So the call to adventure could be someone coming with a message, or they travel somewhere and then when they get there they see that, everything's going crazy and they need to jump in. So this is where they get their first inclination that something's not right. Number three is the refusal of the call. So this is when the epic hero kind of takes a moment and considers, do I really want to do this? Is this entirely necessary? So they need a bit of convincing, and usually this morphs right into number four, which is meeting the mentor. Sometimes the mentor is someone who is going to be the one to convince them. Then they cross the threshold, going to number five, crossing the threshold, and this is where they get their first sight of that villain that they need to take over. So then, with number six, the test allies and enemies, they're finding out what they're going to have to do. They make a plan, and they find out a little bit more about their enemy and what they need to do to be able to beat them. Number seven is the approach to the inmost cave. What this basically means is they're kind of getting deeper into the fight. Either the fight's begun or is going to begin very soon, and they know it's about to happen. Number eight is the supreme ordeal. The supreme ordeal is the fight. This is where either the hero wins or they lose. Number nine is the reward, or seizing the prize. This will be the part where they're celebrating, because usually they win, and so they're going to start celebrating. It's going to get around that they've won, and they're going to be a great warrior yet again. 10 is the road back. This is when they're about to cross back over the threshold, but something starts happening that tries to hold them back. If you look at number 11, they've made it across, so it's considered the resurrection because they're resurrecting up back into the known world. And then number 12 is the return of the elixir, or the freedom to live. Either they start living their life as normal and they don't go through another battle, or something comes from the road back that has followed them, and they continue through. So to compare all of this to Beowulf, if we start here with the world of common day, this will be where we are introduced to Beowulf and find out that he's from Harrod Hall and he is one of the geese. Number two, the call to adventure. This would be where Beowulf gets on the ship and travels to Hrothgar because he's heard about Grendel and he's going to see what he can do to help. Number three, the refusal of the call. This is where Hrothgar comes in and reminds him that he helped his father in the past, so he's kind of indebted to help Hrothgar now. Number four, meeting the mentor. Beowulf does like to work alone, but we would consider Hrothgar to be his mentor just because he tells him all the information that he needs to know. Number five, crossing the threshold. Beowulf has crossed over into the unknown and he gets his first glimpse of the monster Grendel. The test allies and enemies. We meet Grendel, and we find out that he is extremely supernatural and not as normal mortal can attack him. 7 is the approach to the inmost cave, and this is where Beowulf and Grendel really start fighting in the mead hall when Beowulf is trying to defend everyone. So number 8 is the supreme ordeal. This is when Beowulf will be jumping right in with Grendel. They're in the midst of the fight, and in this case, Beowulf wins. He rips off Grendel's arm, Grendel runs home, and he dies there. Number 9 would be the reward for seizing the prize. In this case, the reward and the prize are Grendel's arm, and Beowulf hangs him from the rafters just to remind everyone, hey, I killed this thing, I am your hero, because we all know that Beowulf likes to be famous. Number 10 is the road back. So while they don't know, as they're celebrating and having their trophy hanging there, Grendel's mom is extremely upset that her son has been killed because he ran right home to her and died with her. So she starts plotting ways to get back at Beowulf and all of the geese for killing her son. So, unbeknownst to them, as they cross the threshold back into the known world, which we call the resurrection because they were rising up, she starts to come towards them where they are in Harrod Hall. So here at the resurrection, they're still kind of celebrating a little bit. You know, they don't really know anything else is going to happen until they get to number 12. So usually, if the battle would be over, number 12, the return of the elixir, or the freedom to live, would mean that the hero is able to move on with his life. Nothing else is going to happen. He's just done what he needs to do, and it'll all be okay. In this case, Grendel's mom comes in, and she starts killing them again. So Beowulf is forced to go right back to start and continue through this whole entire cycle again.